Good afternoon, everybody. So today we are in the kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my channel. As I've said in previous videos, our family is coming for New Year's. There are local kids that will do something small on Christmas, but for New Year's is our big celebration this year. And so I'm trying to prepare ahead some of the things that we're going to have New Year's Eve, especially, and maybe some for New Year's Day. Probably won't get that far. That'll be another video. Anyway, stick with me. Let's see where we go. So today, I've kind of divided the recipes that I am going to do into bread type recipes. There's a couple breads I want to do, a stuffing recipe I want to do. I'm not probably going to get to those today. I did post a video of the raisin bread that I made to try out, and it turned out amazing. So that's a definite keeper. And so today I'm working on dips. So in order to do that, because I'm probably making at least 4, because I want to make them ahead, I want to wrap them, I want to put them in the freezer. They're all ones that are going to have to be baked. So they'll be all ready. I can thaw them out the night before and just throw them in the oven, and I'm not spending hours while my kids are here making these dips. But in order to do that, I need to do some pre-prep. You know, you prep to prep. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grate, I'm actually chopping my cheese. Typically I do it in my Pampered Chef blender, and that works great, but I can only do a half a brick at a time. I'm going to try it with my food processor. My food processor does have, this is a slicing blade, but it has a grating blade like this. The only thing I find, for one, it's kind of fine even on the coarser one. The other thing is the cheese gathers around the lid, and it's actually a real pain. Grating cheese is one of my least favorite things. Today I'm going to try chopping it the same as I would in the blender in my food processor using the S-Blade. The blender's great. The only thing is it kind of draws things to the bottom. And so some might be, when you're trying to do a whole bunch, some is gonna get pasty and almost like a spread while I'm waiting for the rest of it to chop. So we're gonna see how it works today in the blender. Stay with me. So obviously the first thing I have to do is open all the cheese. I do have more downstairs, but I'm just going with 4 blocks at the moment. And these blocks are getting smaller all the time. These are 400 gram blocks. So I do it cold, because while it's cold, it's not going to get warmed up and turn into a paste as quickly as if it was room temperature. My cream cheese, on the other hand, is out sitting on my counter, has been all morning, so that it is room temperature, because it will blend better. I do not want this blended. So I'm just gonna, this is my experiment block. We'll start here. I'm gonna just break it into little pieces. It is gloriously beautiful out here today. I mean, I'm not a winter fan, but man, when you see all this white snow, my tree branches are laden with snow, and it looks magical. So I've got my blender, or my food processor, plugged in. I'm gonna try the whole block. I have a bowl here to put the chunks in while I'm done. And I won't blend all the cream cheese together at the same time, because then it's harder to measure out for how much you need for each recipe. But the cheese, you can kind of, you know, figure it out. Okay, turning it off would be good. this worked perfect. So much better than the grater. And because it's all going to be melted, like there really isn't a need for it to be totally uniform, but I mean, that's pretty good. They're all crumbled like this. None of it got mushed together. So I'm going to dump that in here. And then we're going to move on and do the rest. Okay, so my cheese is all done, and that's 4 blocks of cheese, and I've alternated between marble and mozzarella. And personally, I don't really care which type of cheese I use. When it's melted and baked, cheese is cheese. I mean, I will put some parm in some of the recipes, but the parm I buy is already grated. I get it from Costco. For me, it's the best store-bought pre-grated Parmesan. It's not baked, it actually feels like real fresh grated Parmesan. So I would be using that in some of the recipes. The other thing I've done ahead of time, I had my husband pick up a bunch of tinfoil pans. I do not typically use these much other than we're smoking things, because I don't want my good baking pans and stuff in the smoker. But for one, my baking pans are pretty much packed, and these are going to get frozen, and so it's just easier to use these up instead of using the things I maybe want to end up serving it in. Whatever, we're going with tinfoil, that's all I'm saying. So we'll keep moving, figure out what I'm going to do next, and I'll be back. Okay, so the first dip I'm going to do is a cheesy hot crab dip. Obviously, we're not going to heat it today, but I'm going to get it all mixed together. And no, I'm not using real crab. I'm using the crab flavored pollock or whatever it is. And so I'm doubling this recipe because I know this is one we're going to really enjoy. And it says I need a pound for each recipe, and I don't have 2 pounds, so it's going to be about 1.5 pounds, and I'm still going to double it. Just means it won't have as much crab as they say it should be. Do not be afraid to adapt. We're on a budget, and I'm sure you're maybe on a budget, and so you do your budget. Do not be pressured into spending money you don't have any more than you have to. So I'm going to just chop this coarsely because I'm going to run it through my mixer. Okay. I'm going to do it quite chunky only because I know when I put it in the mixer it's going to shred it a little more, and I don't want it just to dissolve in the dip. I do want some chunks to remain. So it'll be the last thing I put in, to be honest. And okay, so that's ready. I think I have most of my ingredients ready, but we'll find out because okay, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to use my flat beater attachment. This cream cheese is nice and soft. Unfortunately, the only cream cheese they had when Glenn went to get it was lactose free, so I'm hoping this doesn't ruin anything. So I'm going to break it up just a little bit just to make it easier in the mixer. And because I'm doubling it, I'm using 2 blocks instead of just 1. I need my garbage can, then hang on. So that is a really good cooking tool when you're doing big batches and kind of like a batch cook of things. Keep your garbage can and a scrap bowl if you're using vegetables nearby. Because then it's handy. You're not having things pile up any more than necessary. Just gotta wash my hands. And it helps keep your work area as clean as possible. My kitchen is too small and I run out of counter space. But that makes it just all that more important to keep it as cleaned off as you can, so that you're not wading through a bunch of debris, which is what it feels like sometimes. So this is 2 packages of cream cheese, which I'm going to start beating first. Well, actually no. So it also calls for 1/2 cup of mayo and 1/2 cup of sour cream. So obviously I have to double those. Got my measuring cups out, a whole bunch of them. So I need 1 cup of each. And honestly, like I don't know if this is a cup or not. I'm just gonna finish this. Because my guess is if it's not a cup, it's a little less than a cup. And I'm okay with that. And if it's a little more, then it's a little more. We'll work with it. Got a spatula, you don't want to miss anything. Okay. That needs to get washed and go to recycling. Oh, my hands are greasy now. There we go. Don't even waste this, guys. Like, scoop it back in. These days, you can't afford to be wasteful. So I'm going to use this, actually. So this is my measuring cup from Pampered Chef. You can turn it this way for dry, this way for this kind of thing. I'm going to fill it up. It's a 1 cup measure. I have the 2 cup and I would like the other one, the smaller one. What I like about it is you fill it all up. Make sure there's no air bubbles so you're getting accurate measure. Because you know I'm always accurate. Okay, we won't go there. And then I'm just going to press this and it will put it all into the bowl. I just slip off the end, like the bottom where it's gathered, and pretty much got everything out of that. Okay, so I'm going to blend this together. So I don't always use my appliances, but when I'm doing big batch, quick up, like I have a ton of stuff to do, you want to believe this is when these come in handy. Okay, so now I need 1 cup of shredded cheese, Parmesan. This is the Parmesan that I use from Costco. I'm just gonna flip this over. Hopefully there's a kitchen fairy coming in to clean up after me. But I don't count on it. Okay, so this isn't working. There we go. Oh, look at that. Almost like that. So again, I'm using 1 cup because I'm doubling the recipe. I'm now adding 2 cups of the cheese that I shredded, or not shredded, but did in the food processor. Some of my measuring cups in the flour bin. So this is 1 cup. So I need 2 cups of cheese. I need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I'm using fresh squeezed because that's what I have. If you want to just get a little extra, a bottle from the store, feel free to do that. And hot sauce, you need 2 teaspoons. Now, I don't want to make it too hot because not everybody in my family likes spice. Many of us do, but you can add more spice later. And if I have to shake this in, it's going to take forever. So I'm taking this top off and I'm going to measure 2 teaspoons. There we go. So I'm going to mix this first and then I will put the crab meat in. And I'm just doing it on low. I'm not trying to beat anything smooth. I just want to get this mixed in. It smells good already. And now I'm going to put in this crab. Now it does call for salt and pepper and cheese for topping, but I'm not going to put that on obviously right now. I'm debating actually whether to even put it on to freeze it. I probably will because I won't know if I have it, and I might forget to put it on when I go to bake it. Okay. Again, on low. And 2. And I'm just going to give this a taste. I'm not putting salt in that. That's all right. That's salty enough. So it's mixed. My pan has been sprayed. Again, another thing I don't typically like to use is the canned sprays, but they actually do work better. And because I'm freezing this and then baking it, I really don't want to take the chance of it sticking. Usually I use olive oil in a spritzer. And for most things, that's fine, but not for everything. So that's all the beater stuff cleaned off. And now I'm putting everything from the bowl into this pan. I think this is going to taste so good. So I'd be really interested in some suggestions for crackers or you know, chips, whatever that you might think would go well with these dips. You know, we always get Bretton's, Triscuits, like just different ones, but I just would love some new ideas and tried and true tested options. So if you have any, leave them in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate it. As kids, we always fought over who got to lick the bowl. I'd rather lick the bowl from something like this than cookie dough. So I'm just gonna smooth this all out. Don't think I'm gonna put the Parmesan on. Actually, this fit perfectly. I wasn't sure if these pans would fit a double batch. They're not quite a 9 by 13 and they're not as deep as my baking pans. But this is really good. Okay guys, there's dip number 1. And it will go in the freezer.